What is up, my writing weirdos? Hey, everyone. I'm back. Can you tell? So, Sako mentioned wanting to write a sequel to Flambeau, and I went, the doctors say I can start doing stuff like that, and I'm not dealing with all my health crap as much. So, figured I would pop back in and say hi to y'all and run some sprints.
Yay.
I'm excited. We got, is it Felicia or Felicia?
Felicia.
Okay. We got Felicia, we got Debbie. Oh, so it is so nice to actually, be back.
Yeah. Welcome back.
I'm excited for it. How's everybody been in general?
Oh my gosh. My life has been terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah, my familiar died on Sunday.
Oh, no. Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. He crossed the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh. All right. We'll have a brief moment of silence for a wonderful familiar. He was a good kitty.
He was a good kitty.
And beautiful.
He was quite a handsome devil.
He was. He really was. It's been so long since I've streamed, and it's been so long since I've streamed with StreamYard,
Right.
that I can't remember what everything does. So if the screens and everything are all going wonky weird today, y'all know why. It's because I'm trying to remember what everything does.
Is it accessing the right camera?
It is my camera. Okay, so the way our offices are set up, now that we're joined together, there's just a ton of her stuff and her desk and everything behind me. So I'm trying to figure out a way to set up the camera so it's angled just right to still be able to get my face, but not get all of her stuff. But I know it's not getting my face very much unless I'm like, hey, y'all. Kind of turned away like that. So give me a second. Let me adjust a little bit more.
Okay.
Hello, Kimberly. Good to see you. I'm going to do some camera adjustment. Hold on. We can talk while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do, you know me. I'm going to make lots of background noise and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
So what is everyone planning on working on? If anything, nobody has to work or do anything that they don't want to do during the stream. Sako and I, of course, will be doing Flambeau. And tonight, I think we're... I'm going to discuss, because Sako mentioned when we debuted on her stream last week that, she's never written a sequel.
Yeah.
And I am practically the queen of sequels.
So I'll be taking furious notes.
Yeah. Because I don't know what it is about me and sequels too. It's not like I usually set out to have a sequel, but every so often, it just ends up that way, more or less. It's not like I'm like, oh, hey, I'm totally gonna write a sequel, and that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of my Metaphysical Chronicles. I knew that was going to be a sequel pretty early on. Yeah, I was writing book 1, and I knew that was going to be a sequel. Okay, this might be really off. Oh yeah, hey, I have little head.
Oh, you're frozen on my screen. Yeah.
Nuts. See, I got all this set up. I thought I had it all set up yesterday. Okay, it's still too tall.
So I have a chalice with apple pie moonshine in it.
Here we go. It's better. Ooh, apple pie moonshine? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Good. Really good. That should be a little bit better, at least.
No, you're still frozen.
Frozen? Okay.
I don't know the deal. It's the
I don't know.
same froze face as like before when you were
Yeah.
testing on and off, like it wasn't changing.
Right. Okay. But my audio is okay, right?
Yeah, your audio is great.
Sweet. So I may have to do no camera on tonight until I figure out what that issue
What
is
is
going on.
happening there? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So, we moved. We're in a completely different state, completely different internet provider. And I honestly, for all of the things that I disliked living in Phoenix, I have to say the internet we had was awesome at the time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I never glitched out and had issues with that. But now we're in Portland. So like I can't say I'm super thrilled with the
With the interweb.
yeah, with the interweb that I'm just not super happy with it. So, okay, so tonight we plan on working on the sequel for Flambeau. For those that weren't here with us when we wrote the first one, Sako and I basically from idea inception, from the hey, do you want to write a book together moment to for inception of idea through outlining it, through the beat sheets, through all the character information, through everything, clear up till this is the final copy and here's our cover reveal and everything. Well, not here's the final copy because you had to buy it for that, but wrote the book. And so we're going to try doing it again. We might be crazy.
We might be crazy.
We might be. Morgan, hi,
Hi,
it's good to see you.
Hi,
yeah,
Jenna.
it's just tech issues, just crazy. And apparently my cameras or internet, whatever, is having tech issues. Oregon. So my wife and I moved to Portland, Oregon just before Thanksgiving of last year, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And we love it.
I'm so glad.
It's been really awesome. Our neighborhood is amazing, and we got exactly what we wanted as far as like a walkable neighborhood. Anybody who's been to Phoenix, Arizona knows that nothing there is walkable except for the ASU campus in Tempe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's the only thing that's like you can find kind of everything you need within a reasonable walkable distance. But nah, not the rest of it, especially where we were living. So we decided when we decided we needed to leave Arizona. We had been thinking about Portland, Oregon for a while and decided to go ahead and move up here. And we figured out that basically every neighborhood or district is kind of like its own little town, all-inclusive little town.
Right.
And then, they're not very big in and of themselves. So that's kind of cool. Debbie's going to be working on the comic strip. We need to finish chapter 9, sitting unfinished for months. Ugh, I feel you. My rewrites on my book 1 and 2, my new edition, has been pretty cruddy. Like I've not really put any work into it, even though like I could start writing again kind of basically at the beginning of this year.
Oh, well, like take all the time you need. You don't have to like storm back into it.
I kind of just had to get like back into it. Plus I just really wasn't feeling writing at that time. I was just feeling more like doing my painting and my drawing, like that kind of art.
Yeah.
Which is good replenishment. So I just waited till I felt like writing again and then managed to pick everything up. So, okay. When it comes to writing sequels,
mm-hmm.
It helps to know it helps. It's not mandatory. And anything I say here is my experience and things that I've gone through, not like the end all be all of how to do things as far as writing and writing sequels. But the big thing is if you can, have a larger worldview. Like if you've already done your solid world building with book one, it's so much easier to then decide book one isn't going to be an actual sequel or series, depending on what, however many stories you get out of it or plan out of it.
Right.
So that's kind of one of the best things that I recommend, is just making sure that when you put in your time, you really do your world building.
Mhm.
If you didn't do it with your first, with the first book, then my recommendation is to really focus on your world building first. When you go into your beats and doing things like that, you can have, an idea of who your main character is and who the conflict is and things like that. But I recommend, putting that aside and doing the absolute world building first. I don't know about everybody else, but I prefer building my characters out first and like what's their role. And
I am character driven as well.
yeah. And a lot of writers that I speak with, and talk with on the regular when I go to cons and do panels or just networking in general, a lot of people most of us are character driven because we get that cool idea for a character and then we figure out how to insert it into a plot later, because characters are easy, plots are hard.
There's some people that disagree, that are exactly the opposite.
Yeah, that's very true. If you guys can hear whatever's going on, by the way, our windows are open, and the neighbors, they have a little dog.
Oh,
He'll go back in a moment.
They got an ARP.
Yeah. Yep, they've got an ARP, and my cats are going to come in here and meow with them.
Oh, so Kimberly says that plots are easier for her.
Okay.
Instead of, and same with Felicia. Apparently, she comes up with the plot first.
Interesting. I wish I could do that more often. There's only ever been one story that I've written that I'm working on. It's my epic fantasy, and it's the only one that ever came to me plot first. And I still had an idea of the main character, but it literally was a dream, and it just gave me all my plot. So it was pretty cool. The sequels are quite the different beast. You are right. Yes, that is exactly how Portland, Oregon is like. Pearl is a good district. Lloyd, I live close to. But yeah, and some reading during the stream. That's always good. I like being able to read, like just being able to like take time and read. And I don't do as much of it as I should.
Yeah, me either.
Which means it's bad. I'm bad.
I'm actually in the throes of reading RC Gold. Damn it, Sako. RC Scott.
You're getting RC and RK all mixed up, aren't you?
Which is retarded because RC and I have gotten close. So it's like kind of retarded for me to.
Yeah, you just streamed with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I talk to him on a daily basis. Like it's not like I don't know better.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's easy to do. So, I mean, it's just easy. I've said somebody else's, like I've used RK's in it, like initials when somebody asked me what my name was, and I was like BC, and I should have said BC, but I was like RK, and nope. It's because I just, it's just because I had just talked to him, and so it was just like fresh in the brain.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh.
So, okay, so with the sequels, the other primary thing that I suggest keeping in mind in general is just going to be whatever you delivered on in the first book, that first story, you have to, one, raise the stakes and kind of make things bigger than before. So if you had some big world domination, like thwarting world domination kind of thing, Your next one has to kind of at least have some aspect of the world that will come back into it, and you just kind of have to go up from there. And yes, it can get really outrageous sometimes if say you did do like book one, I am going in full world domination mode and thwarting the apocalypse. So what do you do in book two? You can't really have somebody just like fall in love in book two and focus on their relationship. You can, but it would be it's just like your story. You want to keep the momentum going. So, and it's the pacing and the momentum that you're building from the first book. The other one, the other part is that I very much what you need to have, or hopefully did have a subplot within the first book, or even a little bit of the first story, like something you did wrap up, but could be expanded upon. So it's, if you know you're writing a series in advance, it's a little easier to do. You can plot yourself little threads that are kind of, you know, dangling out there for hooking readers to get to your next book. If you don't know that you're going to write a sequel, it's a little harder to do, but there's always like in most stories I've found that I've written, there's always something that was in my original outline or something that was in my original beat, a story point that I loved. But once I got into writing it, it ended up killing my pacing or killing my tension, or it just was not needed. So I usually have that in reserve. But again, it's not something that you have to have in reserve. It's just very helpful to have. Let me see here. Let me show. I just wanted to show, I'm going to show Sako the book one. Hopefully I can. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Well, I was planning on showing the
what we've done for the outline so far.
Yeah, I was planning on showing like the book one, what I just grabbed out of the beat sheet from book one and carried over into book two, just so that we had like at a glance, and
Which
I
is
would
wonderful.
show it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
If it'll let me do it. Okay. Let's see if it'll let me. Okay. Let's see if it'll let me do it now. Share screen.
Felicia says, so for example, if you have a man surviving an earthquake in his hometown, then the next book should be him surviving a bigger earthquake while trapped in the subway tunnel?
If you're going with the whole what an unlucky bastard he is, apparently. But so if you have him survive an earthquake in his hometown, it doesn't have to be an earthquake someplace else, but it should be something that doesn't just affect him, and your stakes should be a little bit higher. So he survived the earthquake in his hometown. The next can be some other disaster happens to his hometown if he's still there. He could go on to like have earthquakes apparently following him around like tremors. Not really how that goes, but close enough. It's a good reference. Or maybe it's some other type of catastrophe that happens. Suddenly he's in a hurricane or a monsoon or, you know, something along those lines. For instance, so I put up on the screen. So these are just the beat sheet stuff that I felt from book 1 could carry over easily into book 2. And this was just me grabbing literally the beat sheet that Sako and I put together, and each of our bullet points for each. And so this was just everything I thought could become a new thing or something that we had to remember from the first book. The colors that you see here are where, Sako and I have gone through and we've like, yes, we definitely want to focus on these plot points and this character development. So that becomes very helpful. Plus, this just becomes an at-a-glance sheet, which is incredibly helpful. Just to, rather than having to go back through and pour through your old outline, and have all of that, it just is off and into itself, and you can save it into however you save your folders or something like that. Sako and I, it's pretty easy how we save our folders. So there, and we'll give you guys kind of an overview of that. Here is where I went to town, writing up different things, and Sako and I kind of been able to go through it. There's notes in here, all sorts of stuff. But a lot of this is, you can see where Sako and I were writing back and forth to each other at one point, to like let each other know what we were thinking based on what we put in here. And these are literally what was put in here as the last stream. This is what, during the writing sprint, Sako and I were writing back and forth to each other. Do we like this? Do we not like this?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Yeah, you can see how well or how differently I keep notes for myself. Holy hell, I almost forgot about this. That should be in there somewhere, kind of a thing. So yeah, it's, when I, put this down, I put potential primary plot, secondary plot, and maybe a tertiary plot, depending on how far we want to go, kind of a thing. And yeah, I even try to come up with, potential titles and things that match. And I always recommend that your titles for series are very similar to each other. So, and they're similar in structure as well as just in tone overall. So if, for instance, you have a single word is your book title, like we had for Flambeau, then you should probably have a single word for your second one, not counting the or a or an, those little words that really don't get counted in the alphabetization. Yeah, that's the word. So that's the recommendation, is to follow the same formatting for that. If you reference something specific, and you need to pull back and you need to swing back around to it somehow, you can do so. Lost my train of thought.
It is okay.
Okay, so we should probably do a writing sprint.
Okay.
I think sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so we are in our stuff, ready to go. Normally, I would show, like, with OBS and stuff that I normally have, I would be able to show the document at the same time I can show a timer, but I can't do that with this. So let me bring up a timer. Can y'all hear my cat?
Meow.
Screaming at me.
Meow.
Yeah, he's a screamy boy.
Singing the song of his people.
He's very much singing the song of his people, yes. All right, let me...
Can you do a timer at the same time?
can. I just got to get to it.
Okay.
Because I had a different timer all loaded up in my OBS.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I've got to go just pull one real quick. And I have a whole bunch of them saved, like from Once Upon a Time. You hear me? Clickety click. I'm going to find this timer eventually.
We're going to go through the notes again.
Yeah, I figure we'll comb through the notes again and try to figure out which ones. There it was. Which we preferred, and talk to each other some more during it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, I'm a praying mantis. Praying
Yes, little praying mantis. All right. Let me share my screen. All right.
All
Here we
right.
go.
Yay, it's a meow.
It's a meow. So do we want, just to ask, do we want to do a 25, a 20? You want to jump in with something smaller?
I like the idea of 25.
Okay. We'll give folks a minute or so. The only thing that kills me is I watch both the streams chat at the same time that I watch StreamYard's chat, and it kills me how slow StreamYard is.
Yeah,
Popping
StreamYard
it up.
is quite slow.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
so we got requests for 20, so let's do 20.
That's no problem. Oops, I might want to actually save it, huh? There we go. All right, so let's get ready to sprint in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Type your fingers off. Do whatever it is you gotta do.
Okay. Take a break.
Yes, take a break and do all of that stuff. I've got a little 10-minute break in here for us, so everybody needs to stretch, save what you're working on, get a little drinky of water.
Or moonshine. Sorry.
Or moonshine in Sako's case.
Sorry.
That's okay. I don't blame you. I know what time it is there. You winding down.
I am winding down.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing the kitty. I'm going to have it on in the background so that I know when we need to start again. But I am going to share a different screen. I'm going to go ahead and share what we were working on. All right.
Female.
So go ahead.
Female protagonist. Watchdogs.
What was that?
Clara. The deuteragonist of Watchdogs. She works as a member of DedSec and an informant.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hey, look who joined us.
What? I have to look. Hey, RC.
Like, I have to look. I was looking at what we're supposed to be looking at, not at the other thing. All right, Debbie figured out the scene we're working on. Needed some drama. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get those scenes and you're like, it's a good scene, like structurally, character-wise, but then you're like, it's got to have something to it, some tension, some stakes. I do that a lot. I have to go back in for scenes because I use scenes as like transitions.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes where I just have like the bare bones of the scene.
Yes, I do something similar.
Yeah, and I just did, but half of them aren't needed once I finally go in and go, what tension needs to be added to this to further things?
So the thing is that I don't know if we need to expand out his powers because he does so much in the first book.
Oh yeah, they're super powerful as is, but
like
I wasn't sure
the visions that they got and the it would make sense if like Darisha was like the aura looking person and Kyler is the spirit person
to channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're able to use his channeling ability. We've just got to figure out how it ties back to, especially if we're going to stick with All Hell Breaks Loose as a tag. We still have to stick with the war between hell and heaven and the whole recruiting on Earth thing. So Watchdogs, okay.
I feel like Kyler is kind of like an ace card in Brenner's like hand. Like Kyler isn't technically part of the council and is just an informant. Just an informant.
Yeah, Kyler. So in the first book, we established that Kyler remained neutral.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they were able to work with the Darisha and her group, and still have to report to the council. Basically, Kyler takes a paycheck where they can get it.
We should make that clearer I think, in the second book.
Yeah, that they are unaffiliated. I mean, I believe
Not just
Kyler
unaffiliated,
says
but
it.
the idea that they will, like, wherever money comes from is, where
Ooh,
his efforts lie.
lean more into the mercenary angle of.
Mhm.
Okay, I like that. Let me find Kyler. I'm not sure where I want to put that in here, but I'll figure it out in a second.
So what all did he do in the first book? He channeled the dead. He
Yeah, it
had
was.
visions of celestial beings.
Yeah. Let
He
me.
had eidetic memory.
Yes. So make this a little bit bigger, easier to read. Yeah, so there was the future vision, the
Mhm.
vision of the morning star. So we do know that he has that they have
Like,
augury in that sense.
I like the idea that he gets. I think he should do small jobs too,
Oh
or
yeah,
they should do small jobs too. Like, where did my kitty cat go? And like,
exactly.
and
Like
has a
I'm pretty
vision of the cat like up a tree or something.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Um, that yeah, we should just absolutely. So he's able to channel. They are able to channel the dead. They're able to have future visions. Do we have want? So I was having the idea. I did have the idea, and I think I put it in here. I cannot remember. Let me see.
Wow, Arcade Gold. Long time no see.
Hey there, RK. Long time, definitely no see, but that's more my fault than anybody's fault. But definitely not Ari's fault. So,
Yeah.
um, so I think, oh God, where I thought I put it in here, but maybe not. Because we've never had we did not have them. I mean, um, like reach into the past or visions or memories or clarifications of things or
Hasn't
anything
gone
like
into
that.
the past. Hasn't gone into the past for stuff for the future yet.
Not yet. So that is an idea.
Hmm.
Um, here we go. What about them seeing into the past a bit unreliably, maybe?
Um.
Not necessarily unreliably. It would actually, we could just make it.
Oh, ooh! Kyler should do seance, like the really fabulous, like seances for old women, like
I
whose
agree.
husbands pass away, and they channel like the dead husband, and I get like um flashes of that. Oh, there's a commercial for. Oh, I can't even remember what it's a commercial for. Uh, it's like for that damn like big box store that isn't Walmart. Sam's no, not
Sam's
Sam's
Club.
Club.
Costco.
Close. Uh,
Like the only big box ones I know.
the oh my gosh, I'm too high. Um,
I'm getting there.
so
Yeah. So yeah,
but
I
but
I
the
completely agree with you.
seances are like his seances are like their like side money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I like
maybe the opening scene is Kyler doing a seance and actually getting a vision instead.
that. That would work.
And they have to like go tell the people to go home. Like I have other more important things I need to handle.
Vision of the future or vision of the past?
Unsure at this point.
Okay.
Because we don't know what it is that they're alluding to yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas
All right.
last time they alluded to the ending.
That's true. Which kind of is someplace we need to. It does always help to work with. Does always help to like work backwards sometimes,
Yeah.
when possible. But I don't know that you and I, have put enough into this so far to be where it needs to be. Does that like so that we could go, okay, this is definitely our ending point. Like we knew with Flambeau, we were like, this is our ending scene, blah blah blah, and the conversation between Kyler and Justicia and everything. We knew the ending scene.
Or the Morning Star and Justicia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and do another sprint, and see if we can kind of where we can go from here.
Okay.
See if maybe you and I can like just be like, okay, yeah, this is our end, or whatever we can put in there, honestly. Because we're into just the brainstorm, part really. Yes, we're doing some of the beats, while we're doing it, but we've kind of got to figure out what our general plot is before we start building out who's the protagonist, well, who's the antagonist, who's their help, and all that stuff. So, all right, so let's get ready to sprint in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sprint.
That was super short.
Hey, yeah, sorry, I was
Hey,
not looking at that
you're
Sako
clear,
and I.
and I can see you, and yay!
It looks good, yay! Yeah. So, wife did some stuff.
We did all the talking, and I'm like lurching to the. Okay, so I like the idea of the middlemen that are higher ranking vampires that aren't quite elder yet. They're
Yeah, kind of
trying to
that.
take charge of what is happening. And so they make the deal with Satan, and Satan's like, oh, of course, we'll support you.
Of course, we're gonna help you. I mean, because so we've got to go with the. So why doesn't Lucifer help?
I like the idea that Lucifer is more after the celestials that can be converted.
So he wants. Yeah. Okay. So there are celestials that quote unquote fell, but they didn't fall because of the war. They fell because they made a choice. Kind of like what was that movie?
Dogma?
No. Well, it's sort of, but shoot, City of Angels with Nicolas
With
Cage and
Nicholas Cage and Meg Ryan?
yeah, because yes, Meg Ryan. Yeah, because he chose to fall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he chose for love, and he lost all of his powers and everything. But we don't have to do that with the Celestial,
Right.
So, case in point, Justicia's mother.
I like the idea of coming up with a new celestial that is also vying for the vampire's attention.
Okay, we could do that. So if we go
Someone
with
who's basically a champion of heaven
well,
to actually represent the side of heaven, whereas the side of heaven was kind of inferred in the first book.
Yeah, we didn't actually name a like who's
Justitia and her dead mother were basically the only celestials.
Yeah. So essentially, what you're saying is we're thinking then along the lines of like basically the counterpoint to Lucifer. So Lucifer is the original angel that fell with a whole bunch of other angels that helped him.
And I think he's going to continue to look for support in that arena.
Yeah.
And we can bring that up with the champion of heaven. Lucifer's like, hey.
And the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, but the angel is just like, no, we're doing good things. And Lucifer's like, I do good things.
Yeah. Okay, so if we go with the biblical front, which we've been kind of loosely
toying with it,
yeah. I mean, we started with it very loose, so who knows? The angel initially who led against Lucifer's rebellion and everything was Michael, and he is considered the strongest of all the angels.
Right.
But then there's also, I mean, there are thousands of angels. We could make up one. I mean,
we should mess with the 4 horsemen.
Oh, I definitely think we should mess with the 4 horsemen.
So Michael can be the champion, but like the vampires would worship Uriel.
Yeah, I don't know if the vampires would worship anyone because again, we are making them aliens and they hate on everybody.
Well, for sure.
Everybody's
But
beneath
like
them.
the angel of death, like they're gonna find some commonality.
Yeah, that's potentially pretty doable. Also, so when you mentioned the four horsemen, that actually kind of gave me an idea. And what if the four horsemen were comprised of the four quote unquote entities that make up this universe? So that would be humanity. That would be which we could make an immortal for the purposes of it being them being a horseman kind of a thing. Like they got that with their powers. So it would be somebody who was raised as a mortal, a human being, a vampire, a demon, and an angel. So we work at it from that regard. I kind of like that general idea, and I would love the human, the quote unquote human representative who's been made immortal and given powers, be death. What do you think?
Maybe not necessarily death, but maybe like the soul of like the most evil man on earth.
But why evil? Because that would tip the balance.
Not
The
necessarily. I think the demons and the princes would be invested in yeah, they would be invested.
well, yeah. So the demons would have their representative. That would
For
be
sure.
part of the horsemen.
Yeah.
And then the angels would have their representative, who's part of the horsemen, which would probably be war, and it would probably be Michael.
Okay.
Because Pharaoh of God's army, blah blah blah.
Sure.
And demon, we could choose which one we want to go with there. If we want to go with one of the seven princes, we don't have to. It could be a different one that represents demon kind. And then the vampires exist here. So they would have a representative, even though they remain neutral. They would be we remain neutral because we have a human who is capable of good and evil at any given point in time and can be swayed.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the balances for all of them.
I don't know about a four horsemen situation with the different breeds, but like I like the idea of an immortal human who like the angels and the demons are basically fighting to sway the person left or right.
Yeah, essentially. And we make maybe we don't make that individual. No. See, the problem is the only problem I have with that is if, say, we took a regular human being and made them immortal,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a thing, so that they could, for all time, represent humanity. Eventually, they're going to be out of touch with humanity, with the good and the evil inherit.
I think that they should maybe involve themselves in the storyline to kind of like remind themselves what humans are like.
Oh, so temporarily, the human sets
Like they go
aside
to a
their.
bar, like they go
Oh,
to a bar and they watch people.
idea. Oh, sorry, I got super excited. Idea. So temporarily, every 100 years, let's say 100 years, because that's kind of a like a full
Rotation.
Most people don't live more than 100 years unless it's by a few years. That's it. So
Okay.
every 100 years, the immortal human representative of, it's like their own council, but it's like the universe's council. Okay. Their own human representative has to temporarily like set aside their immortality, become mortal, and experience life. I mean, they experience life anyway as an immortal on Earth, but they have to live as the potential of, I might die any moment now from a falling anvil or from, and then that way
I kind of like the idea that the losing my train of thought. Sorry. The immortal person not being all that old, but they are indestructible in some manner. I like the idea of there being like a Eternals like club or whatever, where like there are a handful of immortals in the world and they are invested in humankind, or maybe
Yeah.
they're invested in whoever they want to support. Burp.
That gets away from that okay. It's perfectly fine. It just gets away from what we were talking about with the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, that does away with the Four Horsemen concept. I am hesitant to make a Four Horsemen where they're each different breeds.
Then that's fine. We just have to.
I like the idea of the Four Horsemen being celestials. Like, like usual.
Yeah. All right. So I'm trying to think. So I'm pretty sure the Four Horsemen, I don't think that they were really. I'd have to go back and do a little more research on the Four Horsemen because they're not an area I focused on at any point. I don't know who they are sent by. I don't know who dispatches the.
Gabriel is the one that blows the horn. Uriel was pestilence, I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but we might need to research that a little bit.
Okay, so I'm gonna Google.
Yeah,
Okay.
Google.
So, definition, general, blah, blah, blah. Let me go through some stuff here. Okay, so they represent 4 aspects of God's judgment.
Right.
So they would be celestial in nature. Okay. So yeah, we could make them celestial in nature. We're gonna have to write again here in a moment. Okay. That gives us, I think, to run into the next sprint, that gives us a good like place. Yeah, and because we'll do another 25-minute sprint, and then we'll just have a few minutes left to kind of wind down the rest of the stream. Sound good?
Sounds awesome.
Okie dokie. I'm going to let the little kitty wind down. Don't see the point in changing it when it's only 6 seconds. All right, it's work time, y'all. Meow, meow. And we are back. All right, so Sako and I managed to eliminate a possible tertiary plot and maybe come up with some more stuff during that sprint. So that was productive, I felt like.
Yes, for sure.
All right, so what I'm gonna do, because we basically have 2 minutes till the end of the stream, so we're basically finished up for the night. I do know that Mint Ghost, popped
Went to
in
bed.
silently like a ninja and never said that they were here, and then popped out. But it's okay, it's cool. I appreciate the likes.
Also, hi, Christina.
Yes. Where did it go? Christina Finney. This is a good friend of mine from back in Illinois when I owned a game store a long time ago.
Aw.
It's good to see her. I haven't talked with her in a while. Debbie's seen morphed on, but happy with it.
Nice.
I like when that happens. So Sako and I kind of had this.
Had that happen. Yeah.
Just a little bit. It happens. Sometimes it morphs and then morphs back and then morphs back and then morphs again. So there's that. Okay, so I guess we should go ahead then and get wrapped up. You know me, Sako, I'm probably going to put ideas in here. I'm try to pluck out a little further down on the page. I'm going to go through and pluck out the ones that we definitely agreed on or kind of agreed on for during this stream, and then that way we'd have it and it looks a little more concise.
Yeah, rather less like a conversation, more like a brief.
Exactly. I'll put it in a brief format, and then we'll have that for your stream next week. Sound good?
I believe so.
Awesome. Okay, well, I want to say thank you to everybody and to Sako for joining me tonight on my my welcome back first stream back in like 2 years. It's been almost 2 years. So it was December of 2021.
No way.
Because we finished in 2021, December of 2021 with Flambeau.
Yes, we did.
I had to stop just after we did the whole, like just after the release. So yeah, it's been almost 2 years now. But I missed everyone. I missed writing. I miss writing with you, Sako. It's just fun. We bounce ideas off of each other well.
Sweet.
Okay, I'm going to let you get to bed. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Really.
Oh, I still have to pack. Jeez.
Oh, you.
And do laundry and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to be up early for something tomorrow then?
Yeah, I'm going to be early leaving for Baltimore so I can hop on a plane.
All right. Well, safe travels. Be happy. And Christina, that is good to know. But you're going to be here in October. That's awesome. Let me know when. We'll visit. We'll do our best to visit. Okay. So, again, thanks everyone for coming to the writing stream. I'll be doing these every other Tuesday, and Sako will be doing them on her channel, the opposite Tuesdays of me. So keep an eye out, and don't forget to get weird about your words, y'all, and just keep writing. Bye. I don't know when it's going to end.